I want to speak about the project you'll vote on later. But before I do that, I'd be delighted to talk about question 1 on the ballot. The question 1 referendum is to eliminate the state income tax. There's a lot of misnomers being spread by the proponents, and I'm not going to give you any misnomers. Let me give you the raw data. I debated this issue last night with Representative Webster and Senator Hedlund last evening at the Selectmen's meeting in Duxbury. As you can imagine, it was a very lively event, and if you can get that on cable, I think you'll find it as enjoyable as I hope it was informative. Let me give you the raw data. Question 1 is to eliminate the Massachusetts state income tax over a 2-year period. Beginning January 1st, 2009, it will be cut in half, and then January 1st, 2010, it will be eliminated altogether. That represents 40% of the state budget of $28 billion. $12.7 billion cut, or 40% of the $28 billion budget. If it is enacted, make no mistake about it, it's a binding referendum. I heard it suggested last night by this Duxbury senator that leadership has no intention of implementing it. Well, let me say to you that leadership has 1 vote, and it will be implemented. It's a referendum that, if passed, will become law January 1st. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you take all of the mandated spending that we're required to make, interest expense, insurance, state mandates, federal mandates, binding contracts, if you take all of those 5 mandates that we're required to spend, we would have, and then take $12.7 billion out of the budget by eliminating the state income tax, we will have to cut every other line item in the budget by 71.3%. So if you're the police, if you're the fire, if you're the EMS, if you're the senior center, early childhood education, special ed, regular day school, 71+%. Now, it won't be cut that way. You may choose to eliminate certain things so that other things don't have to be cut by 71%. There is this misnomer that if it passes, it's not a problem until some far-off time in the future. We are now in fiscal 09. We're 3 months into fiscal 09. So if it passes, we have to find $3.7 billion in this current fiscal year, because it takes effect January 1st. We'll still have 9 months left in FY09. We're not going to tap into the stabilization fund at the state level because our bond rating will plummet. That cost of borrowing money will increase dramatically. So we would have to have draconian cuts across the budget, and that will include local aid. So I guess I could close my remarks by telling you that you could probably assume I'm opposed to question 1. The proponents like to say that there's waste and there's mismanagement and there's corruption in government, and they are absolutely correct, 100% correct. And I ran for the legislature 2 years ago to find it, to track it down, and to hold those people accountable, and I've been doing that. As many of you know, I'm often in the doghouse with the speaker because I don't toe the party line. But that issue is separate and apart from question 1. You don't deal with the inefficiencies and the waste and the corruption by getting rid of a state income tax when we get the services we get, and we can go down the list and mention them, for 5.3 cents per dollar, or $5.30 per $100. It'll change our lives as we know it. So if you're looking at it, if I say this to the citizens in Kingston, if you're looking at it to send a message to government, then join me in holding those accountable that are wasting our money or being corrupt in state government. The solution is not to throw out the state income tax, which is the basis of the services we provide in the Commonwealth.
Are there any, are the proponents of this, do they propose any other mechanisms for generating tax revenue?
Great question. They say we could be like New Hampshire. Massachusetts ranks 23rd out of 50 states in terms of our per capita taxes. That's a combination of local income, local property taxes, income taxes, and sales tax. The 3 states that have no sales tax rank higher than us. In other words, their citizens pay more taxes. And they rank in the lower end of the spectrum on education results, at the very top in Massachusetts. So when I asked Carla Howell, the libertarian proponent of this measure, in a debate several weeks ago, how would you expect that we balance our budget and provide services to seniors and veterans and children and mentally challenged people, healthcare and the like? How do you expect us to fix our roads and our bridges and maintain them? And her response was arrogantly, that's not my job. So the answer to your question is no. They don't have answers. They just kind of howl at the moon that the sky is caving in. You know, we do have serious problems in the state. And we need serious people to address those serious problems. We don't need someone like her who disdains the very government that she pretends to want to fix. She's not a serious human being. She doesn't have answers. And if I'm sugarcoating it, I'll try to make it clear.